Hey YouTube, Glenn here from DeckTech Cards and Games, and today we have a Force of Will video for you, and it is my take on Pandora Control, which recently just won the Italy Opens. So we'll go right into the mana deck first, and with the ruler. So our ruler is Pandora, and for 1 white, 1 darkness, and 3 colorless mana she flips. On her flip side, she's an enter ability that says your opponent discards all cards from his or her hand. So it's a really strong ability, really strong against control decks. It makes up for her lack of stats. Just being able to get rid of their whole hand is just really strong. On the mana deck you play 3 Magic Stone of Heaven's Rift, which is the black-white, 3 Magic Stone of Scorched Bales, which is black-red, and then 4 Magic Stone of Dark Depth, which is blue-black. So you're primarily just a black control deck. So we'll move on from there. In the main deck, we have 4 Cheshire Cat, which is our main draw engine of the deck. When Cheshire Cat enters, her ability triggers, which is draw 2 cards and then put 1 on top of your deck. It's a pseudo brainstorm, essentially. Her other abilities is that she cannot be targeted by any abilities or spells, which is really strong, makes her one of the best blockers in game. And then anytime she dies, she shuffles into the deck. So it is actually a mini brainstorm, which is awesome. Moving on, we have 3 Little Mermaid of Tragic Love. She's a 2-drop, 500 attack, 300 defense, and what she does is when she dies and goes to the graveyard, you draw a card, and whenever she attacks, your opponent must block if they're able to. So she really gets rid of the threats early game. And she has synergy with our next card we're going to go over, which is 3 Cinderella, the Ashen Maiden. Cinderella's continuous effect is whenever she deals damage to your opponent, you may search your deck for a Prince, Resonator, reveal it, and put it into your hand. We're not really going to be using that ability. She's another 2-drop. The ability that we're going to be using is her Activate ability, which is for you banishing a Resonator on your side of the field. It does 200 damage to your opponent's board, minus their J-Roller. She's a 400 attack and defense, which is really strong. And then the synergy is, like, with the cat or with the mermaid, you just sack and then you get value still. Like, you get to shuffle your deck or you get to draw a card, which is really strong. Moving on, we play a mini vampire engine, which is just 3 Laura. The 2-drop, 3/3, she tutors for any vampire. So you're primarily just going to be getting either herself to load up your board, or you're going to be getting Carmilla, which 4-drop, 800, when she comes into play, her ability is destroy target non-vampire Resonator. So for a 4-drop, it gives you a really great board control, gives you the body you've been looking for to deal with any mid-game threats while also just clearing one of their threats. Moving forward, we got 3 Mephistopheles. He's the big end-game card for us. He's a 1500, 4-drop. With flying and target attack, and his continuous ability is when this card becomes targeted by spells or abilities your opponent controls, he or she loses 500 life, which is really strong protection. It makes them have to have some kind of trade-off somehow. His other effect, which doesn't really pertain to your deck that much, is at the end of your turn, banish another Resonator you control. So if he's your only one, you'll never be banishing another Resonator, so it's really strong. Let's move on to the spells. We got 2 Necronomicon, which is just Yawgmoth's Will. It has 3 continuous effects, and it is an addition field. You may play cards from your graveyard as though they were in your hand, is its first effect. Its second effect is if a card would be put into your graveyard from anywhere, moved from the game instead. And then its third effect is at the end of your turn, you do discard all of your cards. And that just means discard all the cards from your hand. It has nothing to do with your board or anything. So essentially, once you get to the mid and late game, if you get one of these to stick, you just have unlimited cards in your grave to use at your disposal, which just puts you so far ahead, especially if you discarded their whole hand with Pandora. We played 3 Dream of Juliet, just because this card's so versatile. It lets you save one of your creatures, it lets you kill opponents' Necronomicons, or just lets you draw a card, which is really versatile. And it's only 2 drops, so it's awesome. It's an instant. We play 2 Slippers of Cinderella, which gives Resonators with this gains +600/+600 if it's dark, and its printed attack and defense is 400/400, which is just like Cinderella. Otherwise, it gains -400, -400. So it's a 1-drop removal spell, or it's a 1-drop pump spell for your Cinderella, which is really solid. The reason why you play red is mostly for this card, Thunder. It's a really great endgame finisher with Necronomicon, or it lets you clear elves early or anything early that you need to deal with before it gets out of hand. So, very versatile card. It's like Lightning Bolt and Magic, really strong card. Definitely worth playing as a 4 of. The other big red card we play is Bloody Moon. And Bloody Moon is just a Stone Rain. For 3 mana you get to play a card, and it just destroys special magic stone. So any of the dual stones, any of the utility lands, anything like that. And then with Necronomicon, you get you essentially have 4 copies with this, because any copy in your grave you can still play from your from your hand. So it's really solid. We play 4 of the best removal spell in the game, which is Stoning Death. It just kills any creature for 2 mana, so really, really good. And then we play 4 Spiral of Despair. Spiral of Despair makes it so your opponent discards 2 cards if your ruler is Pandora, Girl of the Box, or either of the Pandora, Dark or Light. They discard the cards at random. So it's basically a Hymn to Torok. Really good. We'll quickly move on to the sideboard that I just threw together right now. On the sideboard, you play Abdul or the Ebony Prophet, and you play this mostly for the Grim matchup, which is it shuts off whenever he's flipped. It shuts off all enter abilities, and then his activate, which costs 0 mana, is target resonator or addition loses all abilities until end of turn. You can use that twice per turn. And he's a 1,000 body. His regular side that you start with is you can pay black mana to flip him if you control Grus Ballesta, which is his own utility land. It only costs 1. Otherwise, it costs 2 black and a colorless. And then his activated ability is target resonator loses -300, -300. So he's really, really good. And he really fills a niche that your deck needs. Another card aside is Alucard, which if you control a vampire and you kill one of their guys, you can flip him. Otherwise, his other activate effect is you tap him or rest him, and target resonator gains -300 defense until end of turn, which is just like a mini kill spell. When flipped, he has flying, which means that it cannot be blocked by resonators without flying. It has imperishable, which means if this card would be destroyed, move this card to your roller as a roller without losing any abilities. So whenever it would die, you just flip it over, and he just sits there, ready to go again. And then his last ability, which is his best ability, is whenever a resonator your opponent controls is put into a graveyard, if it is if it has been dealt damage by this card this turn, it goes to your field instead under your control. So really, really strong. You already play a mini vampire package, which is so he just comes in really, really, really strong in certain matchups. We play Moonjdart, which is mostly for black matchups, which lets you turn Carmilla and other problems into humans or whatever if you have Dracula out. It basically just makes it so your Carmillas can kill other Carmillas or, whatever you need to do with this card. One Servant of Vampire is another vampire target. It's a 1-drop, so it lets it so you can flip your Dracula faster. One more Slippers of Cinderella, which is just another kill spell for the Dracula. The Last Dream of Juliet, which is just to kill, it's mostly just to kill opposing Necronomicons, just so you don't get blown out by that card because of how strong it is. You play your last Carmilla. Not really much to explain here. It just goes along with Dracula and the other guys. She enters the board, instantly kills something. Oh, and if your ruler is Alucard, the Dark Noble, or your J-Ruler is Dracula, and the Resonator destroyed this way as a human, put it into your field under your control. It loses all all races and becomes a vampire. So with Moonjdart, you have cool combos there, so it's pretty nifty. We play 2 Return to Stories inside, which is just a remove target Nightmare or Fairy Tale Resonator from the game. So it's really good against Grim, essentially. And awkward Lumia control decks where you just want to get rid of something, you just get rid of it. We play our last 2 Bloody Moons, which is just for land control against decks that are being overly greedy with 4 colors, like maybe Abdul control, being greedy with their red mana or with their black mana, so you can just kill their lands and never let them flip their Abdul or anything like that. And the last card we play is for Duel of Truth, which just combos really well with Alucard, the Dark Noble. It also combos really well with your own Mephistopheles too, to kill pretty much any creature in the game. And that's my deck profile for my Pandora control deck list. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, guys, thanks.